Hi, and welcome to the story behind the stories for the week of October 30th, 2020. And it's been quite a week, and as we all know, it's been quite a year. So we're pleased to be with you today and bring you some stories. Some of them aren't about COVID, which is a good thing. I'm Ken Waddell, and publisher of the Neepawa Banner Press. I have with me today Casper, who is one of our reporters, news people in our news department. We have 3 people in the news department, and Casper certainly contributed heavily to today's paper. So everybody said in the newsroom, Casper, just go in there, Ken will introduce you, and you talk, and what's all there'll be through the show. She's got lots of stuff here. Anyway, not quite, but certainly just some really good stuff here. Casper, starting right off, front page, Alfred Newton, 100 years old, celebrated his 100th birthday with some help from friends in a very special way. Tell us about that story.
Absolutely. It was certainly a very special birthday for Alfred Newton, Neepawa resident and World War II veteran here. Turned 100 here recently on October 20th. And there's a few different things that made the birthday special. 2 days prior, on October 18th, Baptist church members that he is a part of as well, friends and family gathered together and did sort of a drive-by birthday for him, sang happy birthday, held some signs, balloons, just gave him some greetings there. Then on the 20th, he opened like 430 cards, I believe, from people in and around the area, as well as from other provinces. That was extra special there. And a couple days later, had a C-130 Hercules fly over like 4 or 5 times before heading home.
Wow. Yeah, the Hercules planes are impressive, to say the least. They're huge, and they fly so slowly you'd swear they're going to drop out of the sky. Like, they just kind of glide by with those 4 great big engines pulling them through the air. It was quite the tribute to Alfred from Kelwood area, Neepawa, Kelwood area. The family certainly well known, and lots of his relatives are in the area here, and so that was a great tribute. And it's interesting that 100 cards for his 100th birthday, if I have reading the story correctly, came from Brandon, from some of the schools in Brandon. So I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, there's a bit of a tie-in there with Brandon, with the Air Training Plan Museum there. Certainly, they're very conscious of the importance of the Air Force and the Air Training Plan to Western Manitoba and to the whole war effort. But Alf is quite a man. I've known him for a long time. I don't know him really well, but a fine gentleman. There's no question about that. This week, as usual, I did a column, and anyway, we every Monday night or Tuesday morning, I try and sit down and put some thoughts together, and I titled this one, "There is Hope." And I think that there's always hope, even in the midst of some trying times here. And hopefully we will see the end of the COVID-19 here pretty soon. One thing that I talk about, which I really, really wish that more people would spend some time on this aspect of it, is that we get tied up with dealing with the COVID, the number of cases, and that's important. Certainly the number of people who are in the hospital, that's an important figure. The number of people who are in intensive care unit, that's very important. And sadly, that one statistic about the number of deaths is very, very important as well. I mean, people have died of this disease. People die of influenza too, and unfortunately, suicide, drug overdoses, and traffic deaths. We lose about 30 people a day in Manitoba, year-round, every day, 365 days of the year. We lose about 30 of our citizens from all causes. But there's one thing that isn't being mentioned very much. It finally made it to CTV News last week, but there's been a number of studies done that the people who are very, very ill with COVID, who are passed away from COVID, are usually very, very deficient in vitamin D. Vitamin D we get from direct sunlight. I used to know this, but I checked out again. Can't get vitamin D by sitting in front of a sunny window. Apparently the vitamin D doesn't come through, or however it forms vitamin D. Those rays aren't coming through the glass. And from milk and cod liver oil and a few other things. But the people who recover from COVID or don't get COVID have high or normal levels of vitamin D. So if our people in the care home are victimized by this thing more so than the rest of the population, they're probably not drinking much milk. Who likes cod liver oil? And they're not getting much sunshine. So as you get older and more indoors in your lifestyle, probably your vitamin D level is going to go down. And I wish there was a way of getting that story out, and so that we could get a lot more vitamin D into people. It can't do you any harm. I guess you could overdose in vitamin D, but I think you have to take an awful lot. But anyway, where are you at with COVID? It's scary. There's no two ways. But either my column or the whole COVID thing in general, what are your thoughts?
Well, the potential link between COVID and vitamin D is interesting. I was reading through that article that you sent us this morning and be like, okay, interesting. Is it, something that is going to be fairly regular? Because like the sample size, of course, is just like a few hundred people.
Yes.
So I would like to see a larger sample size, perhaps cooperating with other scientists in different regions to see if that's a consistent thing in larger groups. But it does absolutely have an impact on your immune system. That is, it's proven previously, so it is likely a factor anyway. But then just in general, in terms of COVID-19, it's kind of just, it makes you wonder, like, what can you do? Like, of course, there is the standard, like, wear a mask and social distance and stuff and, sanitize, but it's like, what else can we really do to limit the spread and impact and, help people when they have contracted COVID-19, because I don't really know much about how that goes down, and it's different for different people as well, the way they're impacted. So it just makes you think a lot, really.
This is certainly the truth, and I appreciate your input on that. I think one of the problems is that to get the research results is that things are, when a hospital is overwhelmed, probably the last thing on their mind is to be testing for vitamin D. So I don't know how that all works out. But like you say, we've known for decades that vitamin D, among many other things, helps strengthen our immune system. And there's another, I don't think it's in my column, but I saw there's a care home in Winnipeg where they tested everybody. And they had, 69 or something, or 79 people tested positive, but none of them have symptoms. And that was in a care home. None of them are sick. They've got COVID, or they tested positive for COVID. I found that blew my mind, that would be that many people. And it was the majority of the population, like it was 70 or 80% of the whole population of the residents in the care home in Winnipeg tested positive for COVID, but none of them were sick.
Yeah.
Just across town, not very far away, not all of them are testing positive for COVID, and 20 of them have died. Like, I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I guess nobody said it had to make sense, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's another thing too, is like the test accuracy, while it is fairly good, you can still get those false negatives and as well the false positives as well. And with, the asymptomatic aspect, there's certainly, without a doubt in my mind, like people being like, oh, I'm not sick, so I don't have to wear a mask. Like, I feel fine. But no, you still should, because really you don't know. So you could still be carrying something and just not know it. So, definitely wear your mask whenever you go anywhere, if you're outside of your household, in case you come in contact with any other people. And, just do what you can, really.
So we've been talking a lot about COVID for weeks now, months now. So in this week's paper, we have a 3-page special section. It's one I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and we were able to put it together. There's 3 pages there about the Beautiful Plains Medical Clinic. It's a history and introduction to the staff, both the medical staff and the support staff over there, and with some advertising on it from various companies here in Neepawa, and we've half the ad revenue that came in from that we are donating to the clinic, sort of to help them bolster the sales for their lottery. Not that we're buying tickets with this money, sorry. But anyway, to try and raise a little more money for the clinic. I hope you'll find it an interesting read. It's right in the center, it starts in the center of the paper, it looks like that. And it shows, as I say, a history of the clinic, which goes back quite a few years. It originally was a private clinic that was purchased by NADCO, Neepawa Area Development Corporation, a number of years ago, and then was renovated, upgraded, then an addition put on it, then another addition put on later, and so there was it just a really good story, and we have a number of doctors there. I don't know if I even counted them all up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 doctors currently working out of the Beautiful Plains Medical Clinic, and we're very, very fortunate to have those doctors in our community. So we wanted to be supportive of them and of the clinic. Neepawa is not unique, but it's one of few places in Manitoba where the community has taken the initiative and either renovated or bought or built a clinic so that the doctors don't have to worry about providing their own space. They simply pay a monthly rental, and that's what happens here at Neepawa. They pay a monthly fee. There's also income comes to the clinic from the rental of the 2 suites. I think there's accommodation for up to 4 people in the basement for medical students, nursing students, people who are coming out here to do their various stages of work that they have to do, residency or whatever, to become a full licensed doctor. And then, of course, the lottery, which has been going on for a number of years. And it puts about $70,000, $80,000 a year into the paying for the expansion. And the most recent expansion of the clinic here, of course, was new entrances, another suite in the basement, some more examination rooms, and of course a really nice parking lot laid out properly with exit and entrances, and lots of marked off parking for people to pull right up to the door. If they aren't able to manage a long walk, they can manage a short walk right into the clinic. So it's quite the operation. It's also the home to an optometrist, and who actually was graciously has an ad on the page there, Dr. Papaganis, and so it's quite a feature there. We're pleased to do that. 3 pages there for you to read, and hopefully enjoy that. Parade of Lights. What's the update on Neepawa's Parade of Lights, Casper? What's the latest word on that? It was off, and it's on, and now it's on again, we think? We think?
Yes, we think. As of right now, it is planning to go ahead. Of course, providing the conditions stay good in this region. At the moment, the application for the parade is being processed by the town. And there's going to be, due to COVID-19, some alterations with the parade as well if it does go forward, including the parade route. That will be altered this year due to construction for the new Kinsman Court building. So they will still be going and starting from the Yellowhead region and heading down the main street here, but they will at some point be turning to head west up by Buds and Bloom and whatnot there. As well, there is usually a free movie and visit with Santa in normal years. Those will be set aside this year, so it will just be the Parade of Lights. As well, they are not doing candy handouts due to COVID-19 concerns. And they will be asking that if people attend, they wear masks and social distance.
Cool. Well, hopefully that'll go ahead, because it's a kind of a fun night. Like, I mean, Neepawa's been able to keep having a parade. People come out to it, and the businesses support it pretty well with the floats of big equipment and special group floats and things like that. It's usually cold. I often get to be on the beside John Drinkwater on the camera, making commentary on the parade. I've done that a couple of years now, and by the time you're done that, believe me, you want the hot chocolate. But it's a small price to pay for something that is that much fun, and sort of ushers in the Christmas season, brings the community together. But of course, this year we don't want the community to be too much together. Obviously, social distancing is one of the ways that we can keep the COVID-19 at bay, or any other diseases. Interesting, COVID-19, the same things that you do to avoid COVID-19, avoid the common cold, avoid pneumonia, avoid any other infectious disease. You know, it's the same old stuff, and we mustn't get bored with it. It's got to be done. Anyway, Fine Arts Festival, though, sad news there, not going to go this year.
Yeah. Yeah, they did decide to cancel, and some people might be thinking it's really early to cancel an event in 2021. But for this type of thing, it does take, and Kira has attested to this, as she was in band in high school and whatnot, but it takes a significant amount of time to prepare the performances that you're going to do for something like this. So they did decide to cancel, just because, they don't know how the restrictions are going to end up when it does come time for the festival. The gathering sizes could change to be quite small, they could be quite large. There's no way to really know. As well, they would have to really make sure that sanitization and all the procedures for COVID-19 health and safety protections for everyone involved are being followed. So that would also require a larger amount of volunteers, and that's just not possible for them, unfortunately. And that's really the gist of it. So the 54th Annual Fine Arts Festival is not going forward in 2021.
That is sad because, as you say, 54th, that's a long, long time. My sons are 49 and 50 years old, and they participated in some of those early days ones back, they in the maybe the 8th or 10th festivals, somewhere in there. So we've been involved off and on for a long time, and certainly involved as a newspaper covering the festival. So out and about in the community, there's still things to be done, and the Rotary Club, Neepawa here, is certainly a group that sees a job and figures out a way to get it done. So they were doing some work down at Rotary Park. They were doing some highway cleanup with different groups. That's featured on page 12 of our paper. A few pictures of some of the stalwart Rotarians out and about staining some of the lookout decks and lookout points there at Park Lake. And yes, it's still fun to go down to Park Lake and have a look. There's still a few birds down there, but there are not very many geese. They found a different place this year because there ain't no water at Park Lake, except maybe a little wee bit in the river down the middle. Park Lake, of course, is going to be something. We don't sure what yet, because the government, provincial government and the local government here, still trying to figure out how to afford to do what needs to be done down there, to restore the dam or not restore the dam, to dredge the lake or not dredge the lake, whether it should be a holding pond or whatever. But it's still pretty. There's still trees. There's still wildlife down there. Lots of things and a great place to go for a walk, or a little drive if you want to. So they've spruced it all up because it's Rotary Park down around Park Lake there. So have a look at that. That'd be great. We have also on page 2, I think it is, the Glorious Christmas Wish List. And Casper, this paper is all about you, isn't it? You just wrote everything this week.
Sure, anyway, seems like it. And
yeah,
some
she
of them
just sits over there on the north side, under the air conditioner in the summer there, and just, we think she's just chilling out, but no, she's really, really working.
Absolutely, yeah, and one of them, I believe as well, was written right before we were starting to put together the paper on Tuesday there, so got it done just in time. But yeah, the Glorious Christmas Wish Sale is going to go forward this year, of course, with some adjustments, such as instead of being at the Yellowhead Hall for 1 day, it will be at Arts Forward for 4 days, and that is November 28th, 29th, and December 5th and 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that gives you some more time to check in, see what the vendors are. And speaking of vendors, each day will have 10 vendors, and some of them will be on different days, but Arts Forward will put out that information so people know who is going to be there, what they're selling. As well, due to COVID-19 restrictions, a maximum of 15 shoppers will be able to be within the building at any given time. So this year, since you were worried about people being left out in the cold lining up, they are implementing a timed entry system this year. So people are still welcome to try their luck at the door, but it is encouraged that they sign up for a time by going to Arts Forward. And actually, entry times for that, sign-ups will be taken starting tomorrow, October 30th. So be sure, actually, no, is that today? No, that's tomorrow. Today's 29th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30th.
Yeah. I just noticed I put Thursday, October 30th in there. It's actually Friday, October 30th, so watch out for that. As well, she should be known that masks will be mandatory within the facility. As well, visitors are asked to observe social distancing, and hand sanitizer will be available throughout the facility.
Cool. Well, that's good. That's innovative because it's going to be a bit of a zoo getting people through there. But I can understand because the Christmas wish sale is just a huge crowd and everybody's so close together. Um, I personally hope they stay with this format. It's a lot simpler. For me, I hate big crowds and wandering through stuff like that. I'm just not comfortable at it. But anyway, I find it's the hardest thing in the world to do, to walk through a trade show or something like that. You have to walk so slow. By the time I'm halfway through, my legs are tired. What's this? I'm not moving. How can I be tired? Anyway, we have a few other things to talk about. Christmas hamper program. Now I got to flip through the paper. What page are we looking at for that? I forgot.
That would be page 15.
Wow. Okay, that's not even to the back of the paper this week. That's only part way back. Anyway, yeah. So this is a submitted story. They're going to do things differently there. I did read the story. Honest, I did read it, but I can't remember what all. We've got some information there, both for Neepawa and for Gladstone. Are you up on this topic here? How they're
A little
handle
bit.
it?
I did highlight one or two things.
Good.
So yeah, this year the Christmas hampers are consisting of, instead of food items, they will be consisting of gift cards for food, while still providing selected toys and small gifts for the children. Just because a number of their food drives couldn't happen this year for the Salvation Army, so they will be doing that instead. As well, the Neepawa area and Westlake Gladstone operations are expecting a higher need than normal this year, so assistance for Christmas and whatnot is, they're looking for that. The community support is, heavily encouraged and asked for this year, just for money donations and new unwrapped toys. So if people are able to provide that assistance, that would be certainly welcome.
Cool. So they can contact Salvation Army Thrift Store or the Neepawa Ministries, which is at the same address there at 342 Mountain Avenue in Neepawa. And I'm sure they would appreciate any help that will come their way. And they're still going to try and look after as many needs as possible. That's all the topics we have today that are on our official list, but there's a number of other things in the paper I think are worthy of drawing a note to. Some people ask, well, how come if you can only have X number of people, how come you can have hockey games? And the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, of course, the Neepawa Natives play in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, MJHL. They are under a set of I don't want to say special, but particular protocol from Manitoba Health, and there's things that have to be observed, masks at all times at the games, limited the number of people in the Yellowhead Arena, it's 292 to be exact, a limit of 32 people in the lobby unless you're going through to get coffee or a burger or going to use the washrooms, whatever. People are being encouraged to stay in their seats out in the arena as much as possible. Trying to get the heat up a little higher there, so staying in your seat is a little more comfortable than it would normally be. And but also doing a count. We've had I think 3 home games, and we've been under our limit, fortunately. It was very close a couple of games, but we've been under our limit. Trying to do as much as we can in terms of encouraging hand sanitizing and signing in and all this kind of thing. So just so you know, the Neepawa Natives hockey team is aware of that. So is the Yellowhead Center, minor hockey. Tiger Hills hockey is going to be starting in too, which is, of course, the farmers hockey. And they're excited to have a season. That is our headline on page 14 of the paper. So we'll be having Tigers hockey as well. A few other things of note. The Wehrhahn community had a case of COVID, and they are going to not have fans at their games until they get that under control. I think they're overreacting a little bit, but I guess out of caution. They once they know that case is okay, then they'll probably open up their arena again. But right now they're not having people come to their arena, which is an admirable effort for sure. We've got the winners of the Gladstone Golf and Country Club raffle. We've got Beautiful Plains Community Foundation awards, 2 more local organizations. Just this week, I did an interview with Brent Sorensen of the foundation, the president, and Brenda Krischuk who's the executive director. So hopefully you'll have to take time to listen to that. It was a history of the foundation and their 25th anniversary and their 25 years of giving program that they're putting up here. So lots of information there on that as well. So anyway, that about brings us to the end of the show today. But if you do want to get a hold of us at the Neepawa Banner Press, please contact us at 204-476-3401 with your any input you have, advertising, news, criticism. We take that too. We don't like being criticized, honest. We try and not do anything that deserves criticism, but when you feel that we need to tell us something that you don't think is quite right, that we've done or anybody else has done, but please let us know. We'll try to handle it appropriately. You can get a news story to us at news@neepawabanner.com. You can get advertising to us at ads@neepawabanner.com. So we are always open to suggestion, news ideas, advertising, whatever. Advertising is our only income. We are becoming now one of the few newspapers in Manitoba because in the past year we've lost 12 newspapers in Manitoba. So we're doing our best here to bring you lots of news and to provide you a good medium for advertising and to showcase and highlight what's going on in Neepawa and the region. But we need your help. Send us the stories. We need the stories, we need the pictures, we need the news tips. We need to know what's going on. So thank you for being with us today for the story behind the stories. Thank you, Casper, for writing so much this week and talking. I think you probably talked almost as much as me, so that's an accomplishment. Anyway, so on behalf of Casper and all our staff, I'm Ken Waddell, Neepawa Banner Press, and we thank you for being with us, and we look forward to somebody from the staff will be with you again next week. Thank you.